Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alara Canfield Show, the Create Your Life video series, where we are talking to Access Consciousness facilitators about moving beyond mediocre to infinite possibilities, about creating your life in a way that's filled with ease and joy and glory. And we're sharing tools and processes that these magnificent powerhouses use in their daily lives and businesses to create their life, because really, it is a choice and it is possible for all of us. So today I'm so excited. We have Ina Basur here with us from India, New Delhi. So I was like, oh, yay, fun. I was thinking of, looking more Indian today, but it's like, no, never mind. It's like, no, I'll just go with the whole Alara look. This works. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Ina. She's in New Delhi. She's a powerhouse of a businesswoman and very creative. All sorts of different gifts and capacities and talents that she has in her life and business. You can read more about her on the live page. But she is an Access Consciousness certified facilitator. And so we are going to be using the tools of Access Consciousness on this call, including some processes, hopefully. So you guys, if you have questions, right, this is the time, right? We have somebody who's willing and able and wants to share with you. So ask your questions. I love questions, because otherwise it's just me getting facilitated, which I have no problem with. It's been amazing. But I would love for Ina to share her tools and processes with you as well. So Ina, I met Ina, not physically yet, but a couple of months ago, really, when we were working on another project, and I was like, oh my goodness, she's so nice, she's so sweet, and she's so bubbly, and she's so wow. It's like, I love the way she asks questions. Right? And that was what I used to think. Like, I love the way she asks questions. She's so yummy. I love her energy. So I reached out to her and asked her if she would love to be on my show. She said, yeah, absolutely. Why not? And so she's here with us to share. And I'm going to ask questions basically on what are some of your favorite tools? What do you use practically, in your day-to-day life? So Ina, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me and for creating this lovely, amazing platform for everyone to create beyond. And it's just, I've looked at some of the calls as well, the replays, and it's just such an invitation. Thank you so much for creating it and for having me on the show.
It's been so much fun, right? I mean, if you've watched some of the shows, you've seen how much fun it is. And it's like, oh my goodness, the questions that come up, for people. It's like, yeah, why not? And this is the time for us to really, there's no more excuses, right? There's no more excuses to creating your life. Like, why are you not creating your life? There's no excuse. We have the tools, we have the processes, we have choice. So that's the biggest one for me lately. It's like, what am I choosing? What would I like to choose? So can you tell me, how you got started with Access, and basically what are some of your favorite tools that you use every day?
Sure, absolutely. I had a successfully expanding communication design business, and I was so-called doing something that was my passion. Mm-hmm. So I had to be happy, right? And yeah. I had an expanding business which was growing, so I had to be happy, right? And but I was burnt out. I started getting some sort of a cervical, and that repetitive stress syndrome of working too much on the computer with the mouse. Mm-hmm. And I used to do yoga very regularly, and so I had to be really happy and connected with my body. Apparently not. So for me, it turned out that I just came back. And I had the business was really booming, and we had taken some really calls about the business expanding more, and my partner left, the other director. So at that point I was like, wow. So I did continue with the business and the creation of it. And of course we had so many clients that we were committed to create with. But I remember, I think for a week or so, maybe a month, my husband and my partner would know better how many days. I sat at home asking, what the fuck? What am I doing on this planet? This can't be it. This can't be my life. And this can't be it. I mean, I'm doing something that I have a passion for, but like, why is it, like, what is going on? So, and what's going on with my body really? And I remember like every day asking, why am I here? What am I doing? What am I doing on this planet? What this, like, and I had this sense of that I could create, that a different possibility was available, that I knew and I hoped and I wished for, that this couldn't be it, like this world and what's going on with the planet, what's going on in my life couldn't be it. And then meanwhile, while all of this
I have to stop you for a second, because I'm like, I've got tears, you know, in my eyes, and I'm getting all emotional, because as you're talking, it's like, oh my God, she is like telling my story. That's exactly how I was, right? And it's like, it's like, and you know, like you verbalized it, articulated it so well, but it's like, you know, when you have it all, right? And like you had it all, and according to society and what everybody says, you should be happy, right? Everything is perfect. Why would you want anything more, right? And so yeah. I know for myself, you know, when I was going through all that too, my sister said, "Why can't you just be satisfied with what you have?" It's like,
exactly.
like, no, I want more. There's so much more for me that's available. I don't know what that is, but I know there's more. This can't be it. So please continue.
Yeah.
This is like,
yeah. And I had a very happy relationship. Like my husband, and a very different one. We weren't really doing it like the normal way. And I had someone in my life, and he's like partner as well, who supports me, adores me, wants me to be happy. And here I was not being happy. So exactly, like, so I really started asking, what else? Like, what am I doing here? And what can I, like, all the possibility that I know is available, what would it take for that to show up? And so while I'm doing all of this, in the meantime, in the background, my mom, who happens to be here, Kaval, thank you so much for joining us, is nudging me with these different tools and different questions and different, books or literature from Access Consciousness. And I'm like, nah.
Wow, so she got you started.
So you have to resist, right? What your mom is telling you.
Yeah, that's great.
I did my job very well. I totally resisted my mom and what she was inviting me to. And she has tried every modality and passed on the tools to me. And none of them really created that change and that invitation for me to go, yes, this is it. And so, you know how universe works in the funniest of ways.
Yeah.
When you're resisting it, it will keep pinging you. And that's what I guess a facilitator does too. It keeps facilitating us and pinging us from different ways. So when I wasn't really using the tools and reading them, I would ask a question every now and then. But Audrish, my partner, he picked up a book and he started reading. And he would read it at bedtime in bed at night. And I would hear him reading, go, wow, this guy, Gary, makes a lot of sense. This could totally be used here. Oh my God, why are we not choosing this? And I was like, damn it. You mean I will have to read that book that mom has given you that I've been resisting? So,
yeah.
So I was like, damn it. So I started reading with him, and we started looking at it. We started using the tools. And I think within a few days of reading that book, we called up mom and we said, hey, we are the only one we know, and we are choosing this. And so the first class was Access Bars. And we called her. We live in a different city. We called her and we said, hey, can you create a class for us, because we would like to do this Access Bars thing. And we drove down the weekend. She created, thank you so much, a class, life-changing class.
I think it's so beautiful. It's like, wow, your mom was right. So first time ever, mom is right, right?
Right, damn it. For the first time in her life, she was right. True.
You know, moms are great. I have a great mom. You know,
what a gift she is in my life.
Thank you so much. Right about everything.
No, I've always been right. But this is the first time she's acknowledged.
Yeah.
She's a smart one. She got me hooked onto Access Bars and Access Consciousness, and then I'm just seeing more and more and have more and more gratitude for her and seeing more and more of the contribution she's been. Smart one.
Smart.
This is all a conspiracy.
and so, the gift that she is in your life and the gift and contribution that you are to her and now to your business and to your team and to your clients, it's like, it's a ripple effect, right? And so we are, they call about spreading the seeds of consciousness, but we are changing the world just by choosing to pick up that book, choosing to get that bars class, choosing to ask a question every day. You're changing the world. It's that simple. We don't realize, we think it should be something huge and big and like, I don't know what, but it's so simple, little things every day that we choose that changes our world, our reality, and consciousness on the planet, right? I mean,
yeah, totally. And it is like, I love Dane Heer's book. I think that was the one that we were reading at that time.
Being You, Changing the World.
Yeah, but the next one that we picked up was Being You, because mom left it there. It's all her fault. But Being You, Changing the World, and it just is an amazing book. If you guys haven't read it, I highly recommend it, by Dr. Dane Heer, and it's just amazing. And like, the more I read, the more I used the tools, the more I chose the classes, the more I realized that for the first time, someone was actually speaking my language. Someone was actually saying the things that I knew were possible. And so when I started reading, so Being You, Changing the World is an amazing book. It's like, I had this whole preconceived notion of that I'm going to do this in the world and then the world will change, and I'm going to do this and that's what it's going to create, like all those, utopian ideals. And all that is required, just like you said, Alara, is to show up as you and be you and choose to create you and your life every single day, every single moment, by being present. And the world around you starts changing. Like, I started choosing more and more, and the world around me is changing and beyond. And like, going to these classes as well, like, the more you can see, like, the classes that I'm not physically present or haven't chosen to buy them and purchase them as well, I can sense the change now in my world when something is happening. Like, something will be going on and I'll be like, wow, something is really changing. I'll be like, what's going on? And from somewhere I'll get this information. Oh, Dwayne is doing an SOP, or Gary is doing this class, or someone else even, and all the facilitators that, like, everyone who's choosing to create beyond is changing the world, whether it's directly or not, whether it's directly showing in your bank account or not. It is showing up, and it is creating a different reality. And I'm so grateful to be able to, grateful for me to choose more of that.
Exactly. And one of the key pieces for me lately has been about acknowledgement, right? Acknowledging you, acknowledging your choices, acknowledging everything. There's more to it, but it's like that whole acknowledgement piece, acknowledging stuff that you're not even aware of, that you are choosing, how that is, it just opens opening me up more to be me, instead of having barriers and walls around me. There's still some, there's no question. But the more I acknowledge, like, for example, somebody talked about the body a couple of weeks ago, and it's like, oh, I am acknowledging my body. I am listening to my body. And when I acknowledge that, it gave me such a sense of ease that instead of judging myself for, I'm not talking to my body, I'm not listening to my body, I'm not doing anything good for my body, right? Acknowledging that, oh, I already am. So that judgment kind of goes away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. I remember because I was like this yoga person, really fit, active. And so I thought I was like really connected with my body. And I remember the first time I did a session with Dr. Dane Heer. He was like working away on me and my body. And like, my being was like totally changing. Like, I was becoming so aware of the sexual abuse and the other stuff that I had experienced and my body had experienced in my childhood. And all of that was coming up, which I thought I had nicely brushed under the carpet and, dealt with, was coming up. And my world was changing and my being was changing. My body was just lying there. And I was like, hey, dude, what's up? Like Dr. Dane, he's working on, at least move a little. And it was almost like I could sense for the first time the disconnect that I had with my body, that even when my being was completely changing and shifting, my body was just lying down as a log. And I was like, wow. So at that, like I stepped down, was saying like, just asking for it. Cool. So what's it got to change this? And it was really funny though. Like when I came into Access Consciousness, it was really about, being the change. And for me, it was really about, I love creating, I love business, and I absolutely adore me when I'm creating the most. So I have a million things going on. So so for me, Access Consciousness was also, okay, look, like, let's look at our money scene. How can we use these tools to create there? And how can I use these tools to create the business? How can I be with the clients? How can I be with my team? And so it was really about that. But the first thing that really shifted and changed with me was with my body. Like I remember for the first time standing in front of the mirror and saying, I love you to my body, like really saying it and receiving it. And receiving what my body was sensing when I was saying it. And I remember standing there in front of the mirror and howling away and crying away with gratitude that my body was experiencing for the first time, in me acknowledging it and realizing that it's there and it's a gift. And so first thing that really shifted, and that is such a huge gift, to actually be able to include your body in your choices. And a lot of times, our bodies are always communicating with us and giving us information, and we're so aware. And our body is always receiving everything, whether we are receiving it or not. It's when we are not receiving it is when we get the locked, stuck places in our body. But our body is always giving us information and desires to create with you, for you. So when we include that in business, in creation, in your life, in your choices, in your relationships, everything around starts shifting and changing. Because it's giving you information of where you require to be. Like the funniest thing was, I remember once I went. This was much later. I had been using the tools for a while now. I went to horse riding sort of a thing, and I had been riding in Costa Rica and in Michigan over Living the Foundation class, and I was just having so much fun, like in open spaces, and in South Africa in the savannas. So totally letting the horse go and being inconvenient and all of that. And I come to like Delhi, in Gurgaon. We used to live at that time, and I remember we went to this riding school, and this guy got us on the horses, and we were like, okay, let's go. So, and they had like this really small arena in which they made us sit on the horses, and the guys held the reins, and he said, okay, now go up, down, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And his rhythm was so offbeat to what the horse was giving me information, my body was giving me. And I was like, wow, this can't be it. Like, I'm not going to be doing this for the next 1 hour in this situation. So I was like, okay, so universe, what else is possible? Horse, what else is possible? What can show up here? And right then, my body, and I tried a little communication with the guy, and I told him, I'm not a beginner, I can ride. He's like, yeah, but then he kept continue doing it. So I got that this guy is like basically not going to go in the direction that we are going. And I didn't even think so much. It was like, I was just in the moment asking questions, and I was asking and inviting the universe to contribute. And right then my body goes down, and my blouse goes absolutely down, and my cleavage and boobs get exposed, like not the entire boobs, but it gets exposed. And right then my body turns around and shows me this other guy who has seen that, the only guy, and he turns around and he walks towards the horse, and he says, you leave, I'll manage this. And that guy totally let me ride the way I wanted to ride.
I love it.
So it's very funny, right? Like earlier I would have gone into the judgment of me. I shouldn't have worn this blouse. I should have been more careful while riding a horse. But our body is always contributing and gifting to us. And if you don't have any point of view about it, and that's one of my favorite tools of Access Consciousness, interesting point of view, that you have that point of view. And like a whole world, it's only a points of view that are keeping us from receiving everything that we desire and that we can create. It's actually not about whether we can create this or not. You can. We can create anything and everything. The basic question is, how are we going to create it? Or what is it going to take for us to create it? Or how much interesting point of view do we have to be willing to have this and receive this? So it was really amazing for me because I couldn't stop giggling after that. Like I was like, so, and that's another favorite tool of mine, which is anything that's light for you, that lights up your world and that expands your world, that makes you smile, is true for you.
Yeah.
And anything that isn't, that's heavy, that contracts, that makes you contract, is a lie. So I was so giggly after that. I was like, oh my God, body, well done. So
I love that. And, you know, I love how you were able to be in that moment and just go with the flow. Basically, you said to the universe, you know, this doesn't work for me. So bring me something else that is going to work for me. Right.
And it never shows up how you expect it to.
Yes. And I love that too, because you're right. You know, we're such control freaks, right? And we think it's going to show up in a certain way, and it doesn't. It always shows up. I always find it always shows up even more magically for me, you know, with more fun, more joy, right? Jessica, do you want to just unmute yourself and ask a question? Because it's a long one. I don't
whole story.
Hey, Jessica.
Hi. It's about I have a company. I am a speech therapist and I'm a singing teacher. And I work for the community here, and I live in Sweden. And so I work 50% there, and then I have 50% to do something else with my life, like my company, for example. But whenever I have to do something for it, I'm like, oh, do I have to do this? Ugh. But I love going to choirs and teaching them or having classes. That's not the problem. The problem is, like, you know, there's hardly anyone in this big city who knows that I am here. And I've had the company for 8 years. It's just like, you know, in the beginning, I even had a problem, like putting up a poster. It's like, don't look at me. So I've gotten over that. Yeah. And I have a new website that's just released last 2 weeks ago. So
what's the question?
I'm all set. But why? What can I do instead of feeling blah and having fun? I've thought of maybe to get someone who can do the marketing for me, because I don't like it. But
good question. I'm there with you on that myself. I just hired somebody to promote for me because it's like, oh, I don't like doing that part of it. So I just hired somebody. But go ahead, Ina.
Cool. So yeah, that's awesome, Alara. Yeah, who can you get? Like I had this funny conversation with Erica Glessing. She's an amazing, she has a Happy Publishing thing, and just published a book with multiple authors that I co-authored called Earth Healing. You can get a copy, maybe we can send a link to you. But she is, so I was in conversation with her on her podcast, and she was like, wow, that thought completely left me.
I think it was my fault because I started thinking about my conversation with Erica. So I was like, oh.
Yeah, no, okay, I remember. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome.
So she said she was talking about how we were talking about like how our educational system is designed in a way where everyone has to be the same, and it's really changing, I guess, in certain areas now. But it is so much about, if you're good at A and B and you get C in some subject, like what do you normally, what in your childhood and schooling were you normally asked to look at? hey, you're really awesome at A, go ahead, go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're really weak in E, I think you should be working on this.
Mm-hmm.
So through our, like, it's sort of like trained in us that we should be focusing on something that we are weak at, that we are not, that might not, actually I won't even say we are weak at, that just doesn't excite us that much. And we should leave everything that excites us, that makes us joyful, that is so easy breezy for us that we can do it in our sleep. And we should look at our things that don't excite us, that don't make us feel come alive. So I love what Alara said. Yeah, who can you? So it was really funny what Erica said, because Erica's like, imagine hiring someone for other subjects. I'm really awesome in school. I'm really awesome at this, and at this, can someone else do that for me? So yeah, hire someone who or what. Great question to ask every day to your life, with your life and your businesses is, who or what can I add today? Who or what can I add to my life? Who or what can I add to my business? Who or what can I add to my revenue streams? And be willing to be surprised, because it's really shows up randomly. Like I ask every day, like, what revenue streams can I add? What other things, what other sources of income can show up that will be fun and joyful for me, and that will create what I desire to create. And I would be looking at something else, and by chance my body will click on a link, and I will land up on that link, and that link will show me, okay, go here. It's amazing. The more you're in communion with your body, actually you might be, it's a lot of, like, it's sort of strengthening a muscle, but it's also acknowledging. The more you acknowledge it, the more you realize that you're being it. And then more of it shows up. And my eyes would automatically move onto the shop, and I clicked on the shop, and I saw these really nice things that this person had on her website, some pretty journals and pretty things and jewelry and like a bizarre collection of accessories and things like that. I was like, I can do this. This is fun. So I have no idea what it's going to look like, how is it going to show up, when is it going to show up, what is required. But in that very moment, I chose it. And choice creates. I chose it. I said, cool. What's it going to take? What would you like to be? In the meantime, I was looking at some website designs. Which was a funny thing again, because yesterday I was talking to my partner, and we were having a creation discussion, and I was like, there's certain areas like technology and things like that. I was like, what's it going to take? What would it take for someone to show up by magic, as if by magic? Like, what would it take for someone to show up for like this technology stuff that we are looking at as if by magic? We've just bought a domain name. We're starting a podcast, me and an amazing creator, Adita, called To Business with Love. Mm. And I'm just mentioning that for you to get a sense of what that is, like the energy of it. To business with love. Like, what if you're willing to be in love with your business, be in love with your creations? They're all entities, they're all life forms. And go business. Where would you like to go today? And start having that communication and conversation with the person. Like, wow, so I'm like having an ADHD moment, because there's like a whole lot of information. So let me just track back to, so we just bought that domain name on GoDaddy. And since morning, I have got some 20 phone calls for different technology-oriented and website companies asking me that, would you like us to do something for you? Now, earlier, I would have totally judged GoDaddy, because I was like, fuck, how the fuck did my information leak? How are these people getting this information about me? Right. But I asked as if by magic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now I'm in question, cool. So which one of these? What can they do for me? What can they create? What can I create with them? So I've been asking them is it fun for me to receive all 20 calls while I'm creating other stuff? maybe not all. So I'm like playing with that. Okay, so including yourself. So I'm including myself in this whole thing of, okay, cool. So it's not entirely fun for me to receive all these calls. Can it be more fun, universe? What's it going to take for it to be more fun? So then different modes are showing up. Some of them are directly sending me the email. Some of them are like messaging me and I'm asking them, routing them to the email. So now I have like a whole bunch of companies and people who have sent me their details that I can play with. I might or might not choose them, but thank you, universe. Who else can show up? What else can show up? What if it's a constant creation? What if it's never an answer? Answers and conclusions are always, always a limitation and a lie. Because that's where you stop your creation. But what if you said, wow, how does it get any better? What else is possible? Who else can show up? What else can show up? So create constant creation, which sometimes requires a bit of practice because we are so used to one dress. You can only get one dress. You just bought an ice cream, now you want a chocolate. You know, we're always getting this information about just make that one choice, one career, one husband. Why? I mean, I love my husband, but the thing is, I realize he can't provide me everything that I desire. Well, I provide myself, but he's such a gift in so many ways. When we met, I was a totally different person. And the deal and deliver that we had at that time with each other was very different from the deal and deliver that we have with each other now. Whatever your relationship is as well as a business. So we keep looking at our deal and deliver and checking it and saying what's required.
So you can do a deal and deliver with your business too.
Yeah.
I got that down.
Yeah, so my partner and me have a deal and deliver. We have a joke as well that we go around with, which is like, so we're business partners as well, and in a couple of companies, and we are also husband and wife, bed partners, roommates, sex partners. So we looked at it and we were like, you know, we have this joke that, you know, where all the negotiations happen. So a lot of times the negotiation happens in bed. It's like, why? It's like, now is the time. Like, how can you have fun with manipulations? It's like, now is the time. Maybe we should, like, while I've got him in this position this time, maybe I can ask him about this. But and he totally does the same.
Wow.
But what if you can have fun in everything? Like, how can I add more fun and joy to my life and to my relationships, to my creations, to my business, with my body and with me? And everything doesn't allow that. And we all just try and create all of that times positive.
Yes.
Yes.
Right from Good Bad Pop, All Night Shell, Boys and Beyonds. So yeah, so we have a deal and deliver, and we actually go out to a fancy place over wine and look at a deal and deliver and see, okay, what's not working for you? What's working for you?
So what kind of a deal? What kind of a deal and deliver should I or could I make with my company? Where
awesome.
do I start to think?
Would you start to
think? How do I do that? Ugh, English.
So yeah, so you don't want to take the thinking path. You want to ask a question, and if you're not getting what to ask what question can I ask here?
Yeah.
What would be a question here that would create greater possibilities for everyone? And you'll start getting questions. And then or just as easy as, what else is possible here? Who can show up? Like, I'm like lazy bum, right? So I wanted to ask lazy bum in a lot of certain ways, but creation, fun in a totally different way. But if you can, like, I'm always looking at the easiest way to create, easiest fun systems, easy fun ways to create. So I was asking for
So I was just going to ask Jessica, it's like, you can ask your business what would be fun for you, right? And start with that. What would be fun for you and me and my body together.
Yeah, or ask thank you, Lara. You're amazing. You just catch it energetically. Yeah, so I was asking for like technology people, and I didn't want to go through the whole process. I was feeling totally lazy to go through the whole process of posting an ad, putting it in different places, talking to 10 people. I was like, universe, I require this. What would it take for it to show up as if by magic? And then have no point of view about it. How it's going to show up. Because someone is going to break a rule and leak your information, and then you will get calls from like I would so not expect GoDaddy to do that. So ask and be willing to receive it whichever way that it can show up.
Yeah. I'm also a very lazy person. And I am together with a guy who's really working really, really hard. And he is like, well, you don't have so much ambition. I don't see you doing anything. And I'm like, yes, but I do have ambition. It's just, I don't know where to, I do know, but I don't want to work that hard. Just like you. I'm so lazy. I'm like, do I really have to work that hard like you, like 14, 16 hours a day? I don't feel like that. I'm a mom too. Come on. I have other things to do.
Cool. So would you acknowledge that you like it? You like things come to you with ease?
Yes.
So that is a huge gift. This reality is so based on it being hard and difficult, and that it has to be hard work, and that it has to require, like, if I do this, if I put in these many hours, then I will create this much.
Exactly. Yeah.
So everything that is can be destroyed and cure that.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, popcorn, boys and girls. All the ifs and buts that we have put in between us and from our ask to show up with ease can be destroyed and cure that.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, popcorn, online shop, boys and beyonds. I remember, like, it can be that easy. Like, the more it's ease. Like, I work a lot, many hours. But it's like, for me, but everything that I'm creating has this ease and flow mostly. When it's not, I know I'm the one, my point of view or something is getting stuck. And then it's willingness to ask, cool. So what am I not willing to see here? That if I was willing to have a look at it, will change this dynamically. Because it's only our points of views that actually doesn't allow us to receive what we are asking for.
So Jessica, I get that one for you. That what am I not willing to see here? That if I would see it, would whatever else Ina said, would change it.
And also it's someone else's point of view that finding someone to do a marketing job will be hard and difficult. That paying for it and arranging for that money would be hard and difficult. That adding someone means everything blah blah blah. Everything that is can be destroyed and cured of that.
Yes.
Right now, it can show up in so many different ways. If you only ask, if you don't ask for it, you cannot receive it.
Exactly.
Because you haven't asked for it. Like if you go to a shoe shop and like you just move around and you don't really ask for anything, will you come out with a pair of shoes? You just have to give some information. You have to ask for it.
Yeah.
The universe is willing to gift anything and everything. What are you not asking for?
Yeah.
That if you actually asked for it, will show up with ease. Everything doesn't allow that can be destroyed and create all of that times gazillion.
Yes.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, popcorn, online shop, boys and beyonds. Because it's like, and this universe, this reality will tell you, like a lot of people around you, like how many people around you create with an ease.
Yeah.
So you have to be willing to choose it.
Yeah.
Whether someone else is choosing it or not. Whether your partners, whether your husbands, whether your whoever, teammates are willing to choose it or not, you have to be willing to ask for it, for you, without having to defend it, without having to fight it, without having to align and agree with it. Be willing to choose it. And there's so many different ways that people can show up in marketing. I've got this, what have you got? Can we exchange it? So it could be that you could offer something that they are asking for, but you won't even ask because we are concerned about the how the money is going to show up, how we are going to ask for it. And it's like a space of choice. It's like, I'm having it. And the willingness to be really bluntly honest with yourself. Have you really chosen it or not? Because we might say that we might be saying it, but we are not really asking it. So it's really about the energy of it and the willingness to be saying, cool, I've been asking for this. Am I really willing to receive it?
Yeah. Well, I am finally.
Good.
Cool.
Good. Yay.
Look forward to all your yummy creations.
Yes.
Thank you, Jessica. Great question.
Thank you for your question.
So there's a question on here from Caroline, who I know cannot come online because she's at work, but she's asking about, she has a question regarding money and manifestation. She says, I ask for money for events to unfold to allow me to take a body class, for example, and neither the money nor the event are unfolding. I'm open to money or events. Why isn't it showing up? It's been 4.5 weeks now. Why can't I manifest?
Cool. So there isn't really a question there. I'm just pointing that out for everyone else to know. If you're asking a question, which is a statement and a conclusion with a question mark in the end, or is it really a question? So, but there's lots of information there. So one thing that you want to look at is that you don't want to look at manifestation, because manifesting is how it shows up. Actualizing it is that it shows up. And so what if how is not your job? Your job is to ask for it and choose it, and then choose whatever shows up preceding that choice, but not the how of it. The how keeps you in sort of a loop, right? Like what we just talked about is exactly like if you go into that, okay, I want to create money as, let's say, 50, I'm thinking INR. So, okay, $10,000. So if I want to create $10,000, and if I go into that, if I choose these 5 things, then I'm going to create that $10,000. That's the whole manifestation of it. And that's where we actually stick ourselves, because how many times have you made plans and it has turned out the way you have planned it? Right. Almost never. Sometimes it shows up if you get really lucky.
What do you
so if you want to ask, what would it take for me to actualize this? What can I take? What can I choose here? What choices do I have available that will allow this to show up with ease? And Sonal, just give me one moment. I gotcha. The other thing there was that, what if you never, what we do is we tend to choose it, and the moment we put a timeline to it, we actually put the timeline so that we can fail. It's really random, we are cuckoo, but we put timelines to fail, which is really weird. Because is time real or is it a construct? So you're actually putting a lie attached to your ask so that it doesn't show up. So everything that is, everything that brings up and lets down, can we destroy and empty all of that? Yeah. Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, online show, boys and beyonds. So the willingness to create without a point of view about how, when, where it's going to show up and what's going to look like increases your chances. It almost shows up. Sometimes it could be 20 years, but who cares, right? I'm having fun in the meantime.
I think that's where she's getting stuck, is because she wanted to manifest or actualize a class, like going to a specific class that has a date to it. Like, for example, I'm going to COP in January. I chose it early this time. I usually choose the last second. And I was like, okay, I'm going, there's no question. It's like, I'm going. So then, but for her, she's choosing something and the money's not showing up. So then that means I'm answering for her because she is kind of typing in. Then it's not showing up. The money's not showing up, so then she can't go to the class.
Yeah, so brilliantly put. Exactly. Like what we tend to do is that we ask for it. A, we do the timeline thing. Mm-hmm. The B is that what you're talking about, Alara, is that energy of like the space that will become of like, oh, if money shows up, then I will choose it. Mm-hmm. But the money is not showing up, so how would I choose it? Mm-hmm. So what you want to ask, am I really choosing it? Have I really chosen it? If I really chose it, and if you're really like going into the wonkiness of whether it's really happening or not, ask, what would it be like for me to choose it? And then choose it. Okay, I'm going, like what you said, Alara, like about choosing it. I'm having it.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know what's going to look like. I don't know from where it's going to show up. But I'm choosing it. Cool. So now, universe, can you show me what's required?
Yeah. And that's what I do. When I choose something, it's like I'm going somehow, some way, it's gonna work. So universe, make it happen. Show me what I can do. What would it take to create this? And what would it take for me to have this? Because I'm having it.
Yeah.
And I demand of myself that I'm having that, no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. And also like a lot of times, cool, you've not been attending any classes and suddenly you're attending a really expensive class, or like interesting point of view that it's expensive, but like way more than what you've been spending so far or using money as so far. It's the willingness to go and say, okay, cool, I'm having this. Now, what's it going to take?
Yeah.
So when we choose something, and if it doesn't show up how we expect it to or when we expect it to, we go into the wrongness. Mm-hmm. And the judgment of ourselves, of the choice, of it not showing up, of the universe, of, whoever shows up gets the blame game. But what if it is not about that? What if you never went into the judgment and the wrongness of it and asked another question? Okay, I'm still choosing it. Am I still choosing it? Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So what's it going to take? Like, I'll just give an example of like, I was going to go to Australia for the certified facilitator class. Of Access Consciousness and the Right Voice for You facilitators class. And my passport didn't show up. My passport was getting renewed. It normally shows up in 5 to 6 days to get a new passport renewed. It was a month and a half and it didn't show up.
Wow. Okay.
And so you want to ask what's right about this that you're not getting. Mm-hmm. What's right about this that I'm not getting? And you want to be like not going to the wrongness of the judgment of it, because that's when we actually take the step back. We choose it and we unchoose it. We choose it and we unchoose it. What you want to do is keep choosing.
Yeah.
Keep choosing. Okay, cool. So is there another way I can do CF? What else is possible here that I haven't considered? Where else can I go? Okay, I would like to do Right Voice for You. For me, I was like, I want to do Right Voice for You with Gary and Christopher. And I wasn't too sure if there's going to be another class next year where Gary is also facilitating that class. Mm-hmm. And right when I started asking these questions, someone messaged randomly, totally out of time of promotions, that, hey, there's going to be a Right Voice for You facilitators class in March, facilitated by Gary and Chris. Mm-hmm. And I was like, cool, that's one possibility. Mm-hmm. And I haven't given up on that my passport is not going to show up. I'm still asking questions about the passport. I'm still asking questions about what else is possible. And still choosing it. So I can do the certified facilitators. I could then take the actions that are required. So I was like, okay, cool. So who do I require to speak to? What's required here? I contacted the facilitators. I contacted the Access team. I asked them, is it possible for me to attend audio live? Can I attend it now? Can you add me in? And they did everything that they could to add me in, which I'm so freaking grateful for. And the Right Voice for You facilitators class is happening in March, which I wanted to attend live. So I go to Rome. How does it get in there?
Great. I'll see you in Rome.
Yay! So where are you? It's the willingness to never give up, never give in, never quit. And what if nothing was a problem?
Yeah.
What if nothing was a problem? Everything was a possibility.
And I love that because, you know, when the problems come up, I think sometimes that's where we stop choosing.
When the what, sorry?
When the problems start to show up, that's when we stop choosing.
But it's only our definition of it as a problem that sticks us.
Yeah.
But if it's not a problem, what if you completely let go of the word problem? Or if you can't, start asking, if this is not a problem and a possibility, what might I be aware of?
Mm-hmm.
What is right about it that I'm not getting? What's right about this that I'm not getting? What's the gift in this? And I started becoming aware of this one project of mine was really loud. It's an architecture interior design project. And it was really loud and it was asking for my attention in addition to the architects and the designers in our team who are working on it. And I was like, and it was really asking for that space, and it totally jumped in and asked me to dive in at that particular time, which was so awesome because I could really be present with that project. I could be really present with the clients and change the energy of it all, as well as attend the CF. So I was working during the whole day, and the CF was at 5 o'clock for me in the morning. So I was used to be up at 4:30, and happily attending the certified facilitator calls. So
nice.
So what you can have everything. What if it's not? So everywhere that you're creating an either or universe, I can either have this or this. Can we destroy and clear all of that?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, popcorn, mashed boys and beyonds. My project is asking for attention. I desire to give it the attention that it requires. That's another thing you want to ask every day. You want to ask, what does the business require of me? What does my business require of me today? What do you require of me today? What does my body require of me today? What do I require of me today? What does the universe require of me today? What does the planet require me of today? And you can do that with every person in your life, everything in your life. And willing to, a lot of times it's just energy. Be willing to gift it. Like a huge thing that changed for me and my body. I used to have this huge trauma drama around periods and menstruations. And I used to have a terrible time with it. You can read some of it in the Earth Healing book, but in my chapter. But the chapter is called, "What on earth does this have to do with that?" So this was like a great thing for me to actually realize that. So one of the first things that I changed when I got access to it was like, okay, if anything I want to change in my life, it's this. Because every month during the 5 days and a few days before that, like nobody could hang around me because I could be vicious, you know, and I was being vicious under the pretense of premenstrual stress. So it might have served me a little bit when I was younger, when I was a kid, to control my family and control stuff.
Yeah.
But it wasn't working for me anymore, and it had to change. So I really started doing 1 to 3s, 1 to 3s, 1 to 3s contribution to the earth. And the more you do it, the more you start becoming it. I started doing that every day in the morning. I would wake up. It was my routine. That was the only routine that I had. Everything else was chaos. Was that I woke up in the morning. I would wake up in the morning and I'll ask Earth, what do you require of me today? What contribution can I be to you today? What can you receive? Like when you used to get periods earlier, the women would let it bleed. It would go back to the earth. We would also, then later on they started doing the cloth thing, and then they'll dig it up and put it in the earth. So it was going back to the earth. What we do now is that we use these stuff, then it goes in plastic bags, then it goes into the landfill. So by the time it reaches the earth, it's really toxic. Also, how much do we think we are not a contribution on this planet? How much do we think we are not a contribution, period?
Yeah.
That's a lie, people. That's a lie.
Can you talk a little bit about the 1, 2, 3s quickly, just really briefly?
Yeah,
1, 2, 3.
so it's really easy. You do 1, 2, 3. So we'll do 1, 2, 3s for the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that the earth desires from you and your body right now, can you gift it to the earth on 3? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And let's do a 1, 2, 3, 4 for all the solidified futures that doesn't allow different possibilities to show up with the earth, with you and with your body on 4. And the gift and the contribution that you truly are and your body truly is with the earth and in the world on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you guys sense, like, are you more space or less space?
More space. Definitely more space.
Amazing. We make it so hard and difficult to be a gift to the earth.
And when we're a gift to the earth, we're also a gift to all of us and to humanity.
Yeah.
At the same time.
And to you.
Yeah.
To you. And the more you start choosing you, being you, choosing your life, choosing what works for you, choosing what's joyful for you, choosing possibilities, choosing beyond this reality, choosing to go where you would desire to go, no matter whether anyone else is following or not.
Mm-hmm.
The more ease, the more joy shows up for everyone. Everything that doesn't allow that can be destroyed and unclear at all times, Consilia.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, all natural, boys and beyond.
So I don't want to forget Sonal.
Yeah, Sonal.
Hi. So my question is, okay, I get how worrying about money is like totally the human reality, and I understand that cognitively. But when your asks are so big, it's like for a couple of days I'll be fine, and okay, yeah, the universe is going to take care of it, it'll be fine. And then after like a few days, that the thought comes back, okay, wait, but that's like a really huge amount of money. How is it going to show up? What am I going to do? And I have created enough money to be able to attend classes earlier, those many number of times in different countries, but like the same situation when it's happening again, it's kind of like a pattern almost. Am I making sense at all? And I'm not able to like get over that paranoia of how the money is going to show up, even though I get that it's not about how and it's that, but I feel like I kind of get it cognitively, but I don't really know what that really is.
Cool. So when that thought comes, truth, is it yours or is it someone else's?
Well, it is someone else's. But like
99% of the times not yours. But the moment you buy it, the moment that you buy it as yours, you start creating from there.
Right.
So the moment you buy it as yours is when you start separating from you and what's available to you. And anything that's not light, even the ugliest things that you think are ugly about you, when you ask it, it makes you giggle, is true for you. Shit, I would have not said that. But when you say it, and it lightens up your world, it's true for you. If it's not true for you. So when and what happens is the moment we buy it as that energy, we become a beacon for it. Anyone who is being that energy or anything to do with that, we will pull it in. Now, how many people around you do you know where you live or in your family and your friends who have ease with money, enjoy with it, and play with it?
I don't even have to answer that.
Right? So everywhere that you've bought that as yours, this is only for Sonal, no one else. But everywhere that you've bought that first thought that came to you about money as yours, and you're creating your life from that space, creating your creations from that space, creating you from that space, can we destroy and cure that?
Yeah.
Thank you. Right from Good Bad Pop Pot, online shows, boys and beyonds. Because who does it belong to is favorite tool ever. Ever. So return it to sender with consciousness attached. Say it as many times as required. Return it to sender, return it to sender, return it to sender, return it to sender with consciousness. And if it's not going to interesting point of view, have this point of view. Interesting point of view, have this point of view. And then you'll start getting these awarenesses. These things will start, interesting point of view that I have this point of view, interesting point of view that you have that point of view. Maybe you owe someone's money, and or someone thinks that you should be owing them because you have it. Because you have more than they do, so you should be giving it to them. So everywhere that you are, so interesting point of view that you have that point of view, interesting point of view that I have this point of view that I have to buy this as my point of view. Interesting point of view that I have this point of view that I have to live my life from this point of view. Interesting point of view that I have this point of view that I can't create that money. Interesting. So whatever thoughts, whatever things start showing up, start saying interesting point of view, have this point of view. Interesting point of view, have interesting point of view, you have this point of view. Interesting point of view that I have this point of view that you have this point of view.
Wow.
Till it lightens up your world and makes you giggle. And the more you do this, the more it becomes easier. It becomes, you become it. You become the tool. You become interesting point of view. And you will have that space more and more available. Every now and then it will pop. Use the tool.
Mm-hmm.
Like these tools are just amazing and brilliant. And like if you'll notice, the simplest of tools that we've used. But, then we have complicated tools because, it can't be that easy.
But the easy tools, the simple tools, they actually work. They will start to change your life if you allow them to, right?
Yeah, true. And I do want to add to that, Sonal, as well. You want to start looking at like this, for you, what is your financial reality?
My financial reality is actually really awesome, because when I have those days when I'm present with my reality, I have like people giving me money left, right, and center, and without having to do anything at all. And then, like I said, I buy into this reality or like everyone around me, and that kind of like takes over more dominantly than my reality.
Yeah, but don't try to fight it. What if you didn't have to fight it? What if you didn't? So everywhere that you're aligning and agreeing of resisting and reacting this reality, or the financial reality, or anyone else's reality, or your reality, can be destroyed and cure all of that.
Yes, please.
Right from Goodbye Popcorn and Boys and Beyonds. Because the trick is not to use it. What if you could be the energy space of consciousness? Okay, cool, this is what's showing up. How can I use it to my advantage? How can I use it to my advantage? So what energy space and consciousness can you and your body be to use everything from A to Z to your advantage with total ease? Mm-hmm. Everything that doesn't allow that can be destroyed and created all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right from Goodbye Popcorn and Boys and Beyonds. What energy space and consciousness? What energy? Because that's what you are. Your energy. You think that you are someone who only has this bank account, someone who has this relationship, someone who has who's a designer, or someone who's this or that. Everything that is, all of those definitions can be destroyed and created out of that.
Yes.
Right from Goodbye Popcorn and Boys and Beyonds. You are truly energy, space, and consciousness, where you have infinite energy available to you, infinite space, and infinite consciousness. Everything that does not that to be your reality can be destroyed and create all of that times.
Yes.
Right from Goodbye Popcorn, Ownership, Boys and Beyonds. And if you look around, like, okay, so what if you started asking, what is my financial reality? What is fun for me? How much money do I like carrying on me at all times in cash? Would I like it in cash? How else can I add it? I have like a gold brick in my wallet, and then I always have cash. That makes me have the sense of a rich woman.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that doesn't allow that, for you to even ask for it and be willing to receive it and have it, can be destroyed and out of that.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, online show, boys and beyond. So you want to ask how much money would be fun for me to carry on me? Buddy, how much money would you to have? Do you get the sense your bodies are willing to receive way more than you are? So ask your body how much override my control. How much would you like? Let's create it. The other is 10% account. Every money that comes to you, even $1, put 10% in your honoring of you. Now, this is not a compulsion, but have a go at it. See what that creates. For me, like what I realized was that it was always really easy for me to create. Like even since a kid, like if my parents had said that they can't create this money for me, or I can only have one pair of jeans, or I can only go here for a holiday, I would be like, nah, you don't say no to a humanoid, because then she has to go and create it. But I would always say, okay, cool. So they're not giving me. Okay, cool. Where else can I create it from? And so it was always very easy for me to create the money. I remember once I made some 200 Diwali cards, which is like Christmas for India, Diwali cards, and I sold them. I went around asking all my uncles and aunts, would you like some? I'm sure you have some friends who would love to receive handmade cards by your niece. So I would do whatever it takes to have money that you desire. But one of the things that was there in the environment that I grew up in was that a lot of them had this point of view in my family that, who's seen tomorrow? If you like something, buy it now. If you have money, spend it. So no matter how much I created, I spent it. So what the 10% gifted me was this space and the willingness and the demand and that ask in my world and the request to the universe, I'm having money now. Because when I have the money, I'm a totally different space and energy. Mm-hmm. And I'm so much more of a contribution to me and to other people when I have money. So how much money do you require to have in your bank account or in your wallet or in your pockets or in your drawers or in your cupboards that will give you that sense and peace and ease with money? Everything that doesn't allow that to show up, and for it to be easy, breezy, fun and joyful and play for you, can be destroyed and cleared of that.
Yes.
Right or goodbye, POC, ownership, boys and girls. Anything that matches this energy, start choosing it. Start choosing more of it. Because the more you choose it and the more you acknowledge it, the universe goes, cool, that's what you want. I can give you that. Like when you bring the energy of that lack and scarcity, then the universe goes, oh, that's what you want. I can give you that. Mm-hmm. So you got to be present with what you're choosing and what you're asking for. So 10% is the other thing. And just continuously, the more you ask the money thing, the more you realize what works for you. Like even till today, I get this sense of, I get a different part of it, of what is my financial reality. Because it keeps unraveling. It keeps giving you, it's not even about it's not about finding you. It's about creating you. Every single day with every choice that you make. Mm-hmm. You're not destined to a future. You're creating it with every moment, every choice. Whatever you have today and whatever that your life looks like and be today is from the choices that you've been making.
Yeah.
Awesome. What can you choose today that will create the future that you desire? That was such a big piece for me that I have realized is such a huge gift to actually include your future in your today. Because then you can look at a wider picture of, okay, what am I creating today? And what's that creating for me in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years from now? It will give you a sense of it. What am I choosing today? What's that creating as the world in 3 months, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now? And everything doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive that can be destroyed and cleared at that time. Right From Goodbye Papa or Nasha Boys and Beyonds, and start asking every day, what revenue stream can I add? If some creation shows up, ask it. Because the thing with the questions is the moment you ask a question, and the question will really be a space where you don't have the answer already. It will be the space of curiosity, because you wouldn't know where it's going to show up from and what's going to look like. So when you ask for a question, choices start showing up. When you start choosing, it starts creating possibilities and opening new doorways. And when you start choosing more of that and receiving more of the possibilities, contribution starts showing up from every direction. So it's not like I'm going to create this. A lot of times what we do is, I'm going to create this, and then once this is finished, then I'm going to create that. Then once that's finished, then I'm going to create this. And that might be a single choice of going to a class or something. But no, okay, cool. Have a look at, have a field trip, go online, go to the Access Consciousness website. If that's what we're talking about, but it can be anything that you're looking at creating in your life. Look at all the classes that you would like to attend till the time they're listed. And include the ones that are not even listed that you would like to have. And then look at how much are they going to cost you? How much is going to, which ones would you like to attend live? Which ones would you like to attend online? Which ones can you create pods for where you make money? How can these make you money? How can they start contributing? Register for them, create an Excel sheet or whichever format that would work for you. Put down all the classes, put down how much it's going to cost me to stay, to fly there, to get a visa, to have food, to hang out, to maybe to get an extra session, to do all of this, and get that whole sense of, okay, this is what I'm doing this year. This is how much I require to generate. Now, this is just for Access Consciousness. You want to do that with, just for classes or anything that you're looking at creating. You want to do that with your business. You want to do that with your life. You want to do that with your body. What all would you like to create? Mm-hmm. You want to get a sense of how much it requires you to run your life and how much each thing costs you, and ask the universe to contribute. So the gift that, the free gift that I wanted to talk about is, the free gift that we've given is a creation energy ball exercise, which is, you get a sense of what you desire to create. So let's say, whatever that is for you, put that in front of you. What would you like to create as your life? Put everything that you would like in it, and you expand out to the whole of universe. I'm doing a quick version of it. You guys can download the gift.
I love it.
Expand out to the whole of universe and pull energy from the whole universe through it to you. And keep pulling till your heart opens up. Cool. And now trickle back to the energy of everything, and it'll start growing. Like you'll start like this and start growing. Let it expand and grow, and then flow through the whole universe and trickle back it to everyone who can contribute from past, present, future. Everyone who can contribute to this showing up, to this actualizing with total ease. And this is an exercise you can do at all times.
Oh, wow, I love it. I'm loving it.
Creation. We think creation is the doing. The doing actually follows the creation and the choice. It's the choice that creates. Mm-hmm. When you make that demand, when you make that choice of I'm having it, is when it starts getting created. So every time that you go into judgment of it hasn't shown up yet, are we there yet? I know we are like that. We want everything yesterday. Yeah. It hasn't shown up. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there?
That exactly. When you're aware of something, when you say maybe it's going to show up 6 months later, 8 months later, but because you don't know the time period between now and when it's going to show up, I kind of tend to mutilate the creation by the time I've actually gotten there because I got so tired of waiting. So what do you do with that?
Don't wait. Never wait. Always create.
That's a meme. Never wait. Always create.
Can you say more on that?
you put, well, that's a totally another call.
Yeah.
But I'll briefly touch upon it. You want to always be creating. So you want to create an ideas book or whatever, because you will have a million ideas that you decide to create in your book. You want to put all of them down. You also want to ask who does this belong to, because you're really aware beings and you're aware of the next person wanting to create something. Like someday you'll be sitting and, maybe it's time to build a house. But maybe you're not the one who's asking to build a house. So you want to ask who does it belong to, return to sender, and then get your list down and give the job to the ideas. Give the job to that list. You can give jobs, which is awesome. People have talked about that in the previous talks about. So everything has a life form. Even your list then becomes a form. Has a life form of its own, like an entity. If you give it a job, okay, and give the jobs to the ideas, let me know when's the time. Let me know how you would like to create it. What would it take for you to show up with all the resources required and the ease required for us to create and to you to actualize, and let me know when, how, where, when, and one day you'll be sitting and you'll get a sense of, now's the time. Then create it. So in the meantime, keep creating what? Keep choosing, keep creating. Your choice creates, your choice creates, your choice creates. The more you choose, the more you create it. And never get disheartened by something that hasn't shown up when you think it should show up. Ask for it. Okay, the question is not whether you can create it or not. The question is, when is it going to show up? Then you'll get a sense. Okay, cool. So in the meantime, what can I create? What can I create today? So it's being present with your future, but also being present now where you are. Okay, where am I? And what is possible here? Where am I and what's possible here? Because what we tend to do is we think of $100 million company, and then we are sitting there and judging now that it's not shown up. Whereas you want to go, okay, I desire to create a $100 million company. That's or business or life or whatever. That's my future. What does my future require of me today? I'm here. What can I choose today, here and now? What's available to me? What's possible here that I will create that for me? So if my target is to create a $100 million company, whatever that is, to go to this class, to choose this, to have this, then what can I choose here? That would create that for me. And everything that doesn't allow that can be destroyed and create all of that times per zillion. Yes. Right, wrong, goodbye, popcorn, boys and girls. Everything that doesn't allow you to pull the questions that you be, and the space that you be, that you might have fucking shut down with all the growing up that you've done, can be destroyed and create all of that.
Yes.
Right, wrong, goodbye, popcorn, boys and girls. And how can you use all the growing up that you've done? What if all the choices that you've ever made is for you to be here where you are today? Everything that doesn't allow that can be destroyed and create all of that times gazillion. Right, wrong, goodbye, popcorn, boys and girls. Like, I quickly want to say this, that recently it was very amazing. I was amazed that I hadn't seen this before, but I hope that helps Sonu. Very recently, I realized this, that how the choices, like I connected the dots of how all my choices had brought me here. And when I was a kid, I used to be, spaces have always spoken to me, and things talk to me, and I would always be changing. I would get bored very quickly, so I would always be changing the furniture around in my house, and if anyone else let me in their houses. But I was always changing the stuff around and making it different, changing the energy. The pieces would tell me where would they like to be now. And when I had to go to when I was in my 10th standard in India, I don't know whether it's a worldwide thing at that time, I don't know whether it still exists, that we had to choose between medical, non-medical, economic, commerce, or arts. Now, all of my friends, my entire batchmate was going into medical and non-medical. Very few were going to commerce. Nobody was going into arts. And I was like, damn it, I'll have to hang out with them. I'll have to study. So never fit in. You don't fit in. Know that you might be the only one choosing something different and choose it anyways. And so at that time, I remember having a lot of conversations with my family and friends as to what can I choose. And my dad, of course, was like, he had tried teaching me maths. And he was like, no, I don't think so. Like, and medical, non-medical commerce required maths. Like, no, I don't think so. So I almost chose it to resist him, to prove him wrong. Mm-hmm. But thankfully, I had more conversations and I realized that is not what I wanted to choose. So I chose arts and I went to an art school, professional art school. But I was always connected. I wanted to do non-medical. Maybe for a few days, I thought of choosing non-medical because I wanted to be an architect and I wanted to create with spaces. I chose arts. I graduated. The day I graduated, I was like, I'm out of here. And I moved to another city, which is Delhi, where I live now. And I moved into a house which was designed by an architect. They didn't exist in my world before that day. I said, I'm going to Delhi. Where can I stay? And my mom's friend's sister's daughter was staying here. And she was like looking for a flatmate right then because her flatmate had left. And I moved into a beautifully designed, architecturally designed home, much better than the one that I was living in. And I moved there, and her daughter, my flatmate, was studying for architecture. So I hung out over many drunken nights and many loud music in the neighborhood crying about it nights, in a very extremely fun way, educated myself about architecture, about how to read a drawing, how to write, how to make a drawing, it started by just coloring for them because I was an art student. So I would make their assignments pretty here and I would bake there. But I started gradually educating myself from there to working in an architecture firm, to hanging out with architects and interior designers, and then marrying one who was working with another architecture, with other partners, had another architecture firm, till a couple of years back, he and I started an architecture firm. So, which is called the Earth Home. So it's just like, know that the choices that you're making if you were not judging, here's what you want to ask. If I was not judging my choices, what would I acknowledge and what would I become aware of? Everything that doesn't have that, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate all times because it did? Right, wrong, good, bad, popcorn, I should, boys and girls. Because now I have like this fun team that I get to create with and play with and not do the boring part of making the AutoCAD drawings, but I get to speak to the spaces, I get to connect with them, I get to speak to them. Sometimes they wake me up in the middle of the night and say, hey, tell this one to move that there. And but I get to play with them in a fun way that works for me, and other stuff is taken care of by other people. So everything that doesn't allow you to have that joy with every choice that you have ever made and know what it's creating for you today can be destroyed and create out of that.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, popcorn, natural, boys and beyonds. And allow it to give you the information of what future you can create. Because it will also give you information on what didn't work. Mm-hmm. That's brilliant too.
Yeah.
Like, I could have not studied in an educational system, which I hated, by the way, at that time. I was like, totally like, shit, why do I have to go to school? And I bypassed the whole educational system to creating what I desired to create anyways. So where are you doing that? Where are you doing that in your life that you haven't acknowledged? Mm-hmm. That if you did, would allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive the brilliance you already be. Everything that doesn't have that can be destroyed and create all of that times because it is.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, commercial, boys and girls. I think we have fried everyone.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but there are like so many questions and so many tools and so many processes, that you shared with us. It was amazing. And I'm like, I got to go back and listen to this because there was like so much information, right? And not just information, but I don't know, you talked about it in such a way that I got it. I was able to understand, like get it, So, no, it was like, I know stuff, but the way that you spoke about some of the stuff gave me more clarity, gave me more awarenesses for myself and my own life and my own business.
Awesome. How does it get any better? Thank you so much for receiving it.
Yeah, it was. Go ahead.
I actually had no idea that you weren't an architect. I always thought you were one.
Right? I'm fooling the world. Everything that doesn't allow you to perceive everybody that you're trying to be totally honest, can we just turn and all of that, right?
Yes.
And say the truth, but nothing but the truth. But like, how can you manipulate everything to use it to your advantage? And where are you already being it and doing it that you haven't acknowledged? Like, I wish if there's one thing that you can take away from this call, it is for you to acknowledge what you're already being, what you're already creating. Because when you acknowledge that, more of it can show up. Whether it looks like it doesn't have to look like that, but where are you educating yourself already? Like, what you want to keep educating yourself about things that are fun for you, about money. You want to educate yourself about money. You want to educate yourself. Don't buy into this insane reality, but educate yourself of how it works. Educate yourself about anything that you want to. Read, whichever way that works for you. Read, write. Sometimes writing educates you. Yeah. Watch videos, surf the net. Like, for me, it was really boring at times. Like, when I got really burnt out, I was like, wow, I can't go on Google anymore. So how's it going to show up now? And before that, I was a big fan of Google. So I started asking, what would it take? Like, who can take me out? Who can I take out for a drink who will know this?
Yeah.
And then I would hang out with those people and they'll give me the information that I required in the funnest of ways. So
that's awesome. I love that.
So life can be fun.
Yes, exactly. Life can be fun, and it's a matter of choosing it, asking for it, right?
Yes, and asking for it. Like, when I got Access tools, I thought like fun was, going to parties and banging your head and then being sloshed and then waking up in the morning with a hangover. And I was really becoming boring. Thankfully, Access came at the right time, as always, everything does. But I realized that when I started asking, Access Consciousness has this mantra called the only one, which is all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. You want to say that like as many times as you can. Start with 10 times in the morning, 10 times at the night, whatever works for you. But I started really asking for that, and I realized I don't even know what's joy for me. So I started asking. I remember for like week 10 days, I just asked. I picked up one element of it and I asked the universe, show me what's joy. What is joy? What is joy for me? Show me what's ease. What is ease for me? And I still do. So play with these tools, see what it creates for you. And the universe has your back.
That's true. The universe does have your back. And that's the thing. It's like when you start asking and when you really, ask for yourself, what is fun for me? What's joyful for me? What do I really want to create? How do I want to express myself in the world? And those are the kinds of questions I ask all the time. Like, what would be fun for me? So when I created this series, it was like, okay, what would be fun for me? It's like, oh, this will be fun. Speaking to all these wonderful guests and on videos, like I want to do the videos. Like, this will be fun. This will, let's play with it. Let's try it. Do it without any outcome in my mind. It's like, I'm just going to have fun with it and see what shows up. Right. And it's been like such a contribution, much more than I could have ever.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. Right. And learning so much as well at the same time, getting facilitation on each call. It's like, this is brilliant. It's like, wow, how did this idea come to me? It's like, okay, great. Thank you, universe. Right. And
awesome creation.
Right. And acknowledging that I did create this with the contribution of all of the guests and with the universe, with all the listeners and viewers, so what a contribution from everyone, and acknowledging that. Right. So Brilliant.
And never going into the conclusion, like, what if this was not an answer? And you become aware of, like, oh, this is fun for me in these 10 seconds. And then you can ask, if it's getting boring, you can still ask, how can it be more fun? And then something will show up, someone will show up, or someone will say something will make it more fun. So
yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, continuing to ask questions instead of going to conclusion. And, it's brilliant. The questions that you did ask, during this call, were just brilliant and opened me up to even more, and so thank you. And, all of you that were here today asking questions, and all of you who were here on all the other calls. Wow.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in and for all your questions, whether you asked them or not, verbally.
Yeah, exactly, verbally, because sometimes we still got them. We still got the questions. And for those of you who are asking, there is a replay page, and on the replay page, there is an audio that you can listen to. And all these videos are also on YouTube on a playlist. So you can watch it there as well as many times as you want, because, like I said, it's brilliant information, clearings, processes, so much, right? And I was just going to say, what else? And so, this is the last one of the series, and please do take a look at all the gifts that are on the gifts page. And if you are on this call, then you are automatically, we'll get the emails anyway. So take a look at all the gifts, download them. There are some people that offer personal sessions, take advantage of them. Just receive, right? Just receive, and ask questions, continue to ask what else is possible now after this, and it's like, hey, is Alara going to do another one of these? I wonder. So thank you, Ina. I mean, it's like, this has been absolutely brilliant, and I'm just so grateful that you were able to be on the show with us today, that we were able to create this, and you shared so much. It's like, wow, I'm going to have you come back on again or do something else again, because you're a gift. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone, thank you. And I'm going to unmute you all, but in a second. But thank you. And until next time, continue to live your life filled with joy, peace, love, abundance, and happiness. And sending you all much love and blessings always. Let me unmute you. Hello. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. This has been such a gift. Thank you. And go back and listen to the other calls, watch the other calls, access the gifts page. You'll get the email in a few hours, and it'll have a link to the gift page, and then it'll have a link to the replay page as well. Okay?
All right.
Wonderful. Bye. Thank you. Bye for now. Happy holidays.
You, Alara.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ina. Thank you, Alara.
Welcome. Thank you.
Very welcome. It was so much fun. Ina, love you. See you in Delhi. Oh, yeah. I'll see you in Delhi, and then I'll see you in Rome. Bye for now, everyone.